Hello and welcome to Advertisers Watching Ads. My name is Tom Ollerton. I'm the founder of Automated Creative, and this is a weekly show where brands watch other brands' ads and discuss what's good and bad about them. This week's ad, it was helped to be chosen by our partners, Contagious.com, so please go and check those guys out after the show. But before we see that ad, let's meet this week's special guests.
Hey, I'm Sam. I'm the head of marketing at Goodfella's Pizza.
And I'm Andy Oakes. I'm the founder of the Bluestripe Group and the publisher of New Digital Age and E-commerce Age.
Right, let's see the ad.
All right. Sorry about the delay, fam. It's been a weird day. Is that
Oh my god. I'm so sorry. Sorry, that's really gross. Happening. I'll be right back.
Am I bleeding?
my nose?
So when you want to bring the card back, all you have to do is wave your hand and reproduce it just like so. Does have any questions?
What is being visited upon our Earth is not on our Earth.
Right, Andy, that is a quite cool video, but doesn't really explain everything that's going on. Could you help anyone who hasn't read up on this understand what the campaign was all about and how it works?
Yeah, sure. So this is Apple TV, and for their new TV, well, it's not even that new now, but their new show Invasion, which is a great big dystopian future alien attack program, which I am a sucker for. What they've done here is they've taken over 16 streams on Twitch, which happened over 4 hours, I believe. This was back in October, where each of the streamers feigned getting a nosebleed as part of this alien invasion, which is a scene that's mirrored in, I think, episode 2 of Invasion. There was this happened for about 30 minutes in each stream, and then the individual influencers, sorry, I should have said that they are Twitch-based influencers, then went onto Twitter to continue the narrative. It confused a lot of people, and it's one of the things that when you see it in hindsight, you understand what it was for. But at the time, I think it confused a lot of people.
So, Sam, what do you think? Do you like it? Not impressed? To give you a nosebleed?
Do you know what I am? Do you know what? I'm a sucker for stuff like this. And I think there's a big trend at the minute, isn't there, with like PRable digital and things that go on in the digital space that can then go on and be PR'd. And this is clearly a big play in that area. I think confusion, they wouldn't, and we'll come on, obviously, and you'll ask the question about what could they have done differently, but I think confusion was probably something that they intended to do, because confusion creates chatter, right? When you look at Twitter, it's all over Twitter. What's this? What's going on? What is it? And it's almost building up the kind of big reveal. So I'm a big fan of tapping into kind of popular culture in an unbranded way to then make what you're doing really relevant. So I thought when I got my head around it, because it took me a while, but again, I went looking, which a lot of people will have done. They'll have gone looking for what is this all about. So I think it's super smart. I think this show, and again, Andy, I haven't watched it, but my parents are watching it, for example. Well, they wouldn't be target market for that kind of thing. So was it a bit too clever for its own good in terms of its targeting? Maybe, but I think it's genius, personally.
Andy, has this been targeted the right way? Was Twitch the right channel?
There are other things in play here. One of the things that has become apparent since the launch of Apple TV is a lack of take-up in a younger demographic. So what they're trying to do here, I mean, Invasion was trailed in all the usual ways. It was all over the Sky Planner. They did run their own vids for it, and the traditional ad campaign was there. What they were trying to do here, I think, is to try and hit that very hard for TV companies to find audience of a younger demographic who they're trying to find through the Twitch platform. Where they've slightly got it wrong is understanding how people stream and understanding how people view streams, in that the complaints you read about this, and I've got no complaints about the execution or anything else how they've done it, and I think the formatting is great. I think what they've slightly got wrong is that this is people's This is the younger generation's entertainment stream that they've just hijacked for 30 minutes. In terms of a format, this could be a 5-minute play rather than a 45-minute play, or however long it lasted on individual Twitch's streams.
Is there legs to this kind of idea? Like, is it going to be like raised eyebrows, like, oh God, like it's another takeover? Or is this something that needs to be fine-tuned and could work better?
I think not yet. There won't be yet. There'll become a point where this will... At the minute, it wasn't necessarily associated with the brand when it started. It was done to create this chatter, and the brand comes at the end. And I think right now people are fine with that. I think it's developing the way we work with influencers, which I think from a marketeer's point of view is a really good thing, because again, we're past the point of just paying an influencer money to kind of put your brand on the screen. And so, it needs to be done in a kind of genuine and authentic way. And I guess this felt like it was done in kind of, I guess the fact it was done as part of their stream made it quite authentic and genuine, even though it did upset a few people. But I think there is something in the right kind of wrong. I believe in that. And I think their objective was to get people talking about it.
So does it replicate a scene that's already been shown?
So I suspect that so there's an awful lot of confusion there. I watched it having seen that scene. So in the show, it's set in an American school. The aliens are, ambling around, and it causes the kids, whatever aliens do, and it causes the kids to have nosebleeds. And it's one of the sort of the big setup scenes of the show, and it happens, in different places. I recognise that because I've seen the show. I think you can see it from the point of view of everybody else watching. Think, well, hang on, this is just influencers having nosebleeds.
Sort of unrelated, but what is the famous? Is it Stranger Things? She gets a nosebleed when she uses her powers. Is that it, or is there?
It is as well, and that's talked about quite a bit in the Reddit thread. That there was a bit of confusion. Is this Stranger Things? I
always think it's good to have a pot of bravery money. Again, as a marketeer, I'd always advocate do your big traditional reach driving stuff, but have a pot of, let's give it a go. Let's be first mover. Let's, try some different stuff. And that's clearly what they've done. And I love it.
So what would have made it better, Andy? Where's the obvious improvement here?
I think understanding that you are cutting into people's entertainment time, and understanding that if you're taking 30 minutes of it, people come to streams. They want to attend live streams. If you take that 30 minutes away from people, then there's going to be a certain amount of upset. So I think they need to understand the streaming culture a little bit more. And if you're going to do it in a shorter format. But it's interesting, isn't it? Because it's cutting into using streams. Fantastic. It's a function of the pandemic, isn't it? It's in-person activations aren't as easy at the moment, so having to do it through streams is really quite interesting. That's a really something that's come out of the pandemic, a new format. I really enjoy the way they've done that. And I think it's a great way to get people looking at a show.
All right. So what can the industry be learning from this? What is the takeaway from someone who maybe hasn't worked with influencers or is about to embark on an influencer brief? What are the key nuggets here?
The brand doesn't have to be at the forefront of the start of the conversation. We talked when we sat together on that stage at MadFest, we talked about, a lot of ads, we like there to be a big reveal, and actually you can use influencers in the same way. You can chug it along, rumble it along, make it relevant to popular culture, whatever you want to do, and then the kind of big reveal at the end. There's a different evolving way to work with influencers, and branding doesn't always have to be first.
I think Sam makes a really good point there, actually. It's an evolution of the traditional way of working with influencers. It's an evolution of that, and I think it's in that sense it's a very intelligent and clever piece of work.
All right, so before we go, I'm going to get you guys to give this campaign a score out of 5 on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. 4 and a 3. There we have it.
I was going to give 3.5, but I couldn't get my finger around to do that.
No, you've got to have an unfortunate accident for that, I'm afraid. But thanks, guys. We'll see you next week.